everyone, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to the channel. We are enjoying life's journey while on the path to financial freedom. Welcome back to another monthly budget planning with me video. We're going to plan out the month of October. I can't believe we are already on the last quarter of the year, so we're going to budget out the month, and I'm also going to I'm going to project out each of the weeks, and then you can join me on Friday and we'll get back to our weekly paycheck to paycheck budgets. So let's jump on the Excel sheet. So the first thing I do when I'm budgeting out the month is I basically copy whatever template I had from the month before and I create a new tab at the bottom. So we have October, so I changed the month. And then these are the paydays. So my husband gets paid every Friday. I'm self-employed, so I get paid kind of randomly. So basically every Friday I reconcile whatever I've made with self-employment, and then we do our budget together like that. So I mentioned this in last week's paycheck to paycheck budget that October we are going to plan on not having any overtime for my husband. They've had about 3 weeks in a row, I believe, with no overtime. So we're going to go ahead and plan October as if there's no overtime. And with that, we're also going to be doing a no spend-tober challenge. So join me on Wednesday. I'll go ahead and I'll explain what is that and how you could participate as well. So the first thing we need to do, we do a zero-based budget. So that means we want to estimate basically the best that we can, and then as the money comes in, we can make sure things are correct. But basically, we want to take everything that we plan on making, and then we want to tell it where to go instead of wondering where it went. So it's called an every dollar budget or a zero-based budget. We call it a zero-based budget because we have $3,000 for the month. Once we've told everything where to go, then we should have a zero. Not necessarily meaning that we've spent everything, but that we've basically spent it on paper before the month happens, whether that goes to savings, paying off extra debt, whatever that might be. So that's one part of our budget. In July, we started doing a percent-based budget as well within certain categories. So I'll go over those as we get through it. So the first thing we're going to do, basically for the month, my husband's base pay is $790 per week. He works 40 hours a week as his base pay. They're currently making he currently makes $19.75 an hour. This will, this is gradually going up as every year goes by as well. He's in a pipe fitter apprenticeship program, so every time they finish part of the program, he gets raises along the ways as well. So we're going to go ahead and plan out each paycheck here as the $790, and that way we can kind of just get a feel for what the whole month is going to look like. So if you aren't quite sure what this total number is, you can do your weekly one and then come back to it. So that's, basically that. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to do no overtime. So $3,160 for the month. Cash back, we usually get that on like the 5th or 6th of the month. So see here the 4th, well, we're not going to have it in time. So we're going to line it up with the 11th, even though we get it on the 5th or 6th. We'll just count it as the 11th. We're estimating $20.58. This is usually lower than what we most likely will get. Our interest from our savings account, I'm just estimating this is what we earned last month. So as we put more money in our savings, we earn more. So we're just going to put that up with the 25th. Usually that's the 25th, 26th is usually when that amount happens. I'll make these red because we're just projecting out. Okay. And then for myself, let me go ahead and take a look at my self-employment. I've planned ahead roughly the best I could with my self-employment. Okay, so I have 550, 50, and then 330, 330, 37, and I'm actually going to add on here, one of the things that I get paid is basically on the 30th or the 31st of the month, so it's not necessarily on the Friday, but I want to count it for October. So we'll add that here, 589, and I'm just going to say that is on the 31st. So again, this isn't a Friday, but I do want to include that into this month here. So that gives me my 441.26 that I'm expecting to have. Okay. So now if you notice, some things are calculating for me. So our first category that I like to go over is paying ourselves first. So we're committed to paying ourselves first, currently a minimum of 12% of our income. 8% goes into my husband's 401k from his income automatically, so you can see that this is already populating. So $252.80 for the month, and then each paycheck is about $63.20. So I'm going to go ahead and make these red because again we're just projecting out. Now the other roughly the other 4% of that 12% is going into the emergency fund. So you can see here, I have this formula for me. I have this template for sale on Etsy if you want to pick it up. If you want to do a percent-based budget and a zero-based budget, you're more than welcome to go check it out over there. I will be adding a few other templates to my store, hopefully in October. So I have $182 for the month, but then out of each paycheck, what does that look like? So I can see here, 3220, 4007, 3760, 7173, and then the 71 from that check there. So again, I'm gonna make these red, and then we're gonna open this one up. So now you can see I have that 182.31. So these are all projections. Like I said, you have to join me every Friday because then we go over the current week and we see, okay, what did we actually get, and is it really going to go to what we originally planned for? Okay, now our next category is giving. For 2020, we're going to be setting this at 4%. Right now, we're leaving it at the 1%. Last month we did 1%, and again, because my husband's not going to have the overtime, we're going to leave it at the 1%. So you can see here it's calculating for me here. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. So I have $7.95. Now I would normally be a lot of times I try to divide this in half between donations and gifts. We're just going to put this on gifts. I do have two of my friends, their birthday happens to be in October, and then it is mine and Ricky's 6-year wedding anniversary, 10 years that we've been together. That is crazy. So we're going to have this here, basically most likely I'll be splitting this in half between my two friends for their birthdays. All right, and then coming on down to our necessities. Now ideally, the percent that we're shooting for necessities is as low as possible, right? Because we want to have more money to save and invest. We want more money to pay off debt, more money to give, things like that. However, like I mentioned, we're gonna plan for no overtime. So our necessities is gonna be a tight month. It's gonna be about 82% of our income is looking like that's gonna be covering our necessities. So that's, like I said, it's a little tight. Again, we're making all of these red. All right, so taxes I have set up at a certain percent based on previous months. So we're going to leave those as is. Usually the federal is changed. Usually that fluctuates the most. The other ones seem to stay the same. So the life insurance here, so basically you can see what we'd most likely be paying for federal, Arizona State, Medicare, Social Security based off of my husband's income. My self-employment up here, this is half of what I expect to make for my self-employment. The other half, I do a self-employment income expense report. You can see how I split it up. But out of the other half, 15% sits in the savings account to cover my taxes at tax time. So that, just so you guys know. So this number over here, this is our income before taxes. We like to calculate it before taxes because as you see, as I project out ahead of time, my husband's income can fluctuate and my income can fluctuate, so it's kind of hard to tell what the after-tax take-home pay would be without me calculating the taxes anyway. So I just put it all in here, and then I actually count our taxes as part of our necessities percentage because it's a bill we have to pay, right? So the family life insurance, this is usually $5.59 each paycheck, so we're going to put that in there. Right, so now we have to plan out the rest of the necessities, which are basically bills. Some of these have due dates, some of them don't. So we'll have to kind of see how that goes. So I'm going to open up where this would most likely be right here. So as you can see, we have our mortgage. So our mortgage every month, this is our mortgage, our property tax, our homeowner's insurance, and our private mortgage insurance. So it's $1,141.29. We usually pay for that out of these last two paychecks, so we'll come to that. So groceries, we do $336 for a month. That's if we have 4 Fridays in the month. If we have, basically we're doing about $84 a week. I like to have this money as close to the beginning of the month as I can because I've been trying to purchase 2 to 3 weeks worth of groceries at one time to save me time and gas from going to the store every week. The other things we have here are on specific due dates. So over on the side here, I have what day it's due. So like the mortgage is due on the 1st. My husband's cell phone is due on the 17th. Solar, this is actually the 7th. And then the 26th would be if we had any electricity. Our water, sewer, trash is due on the 10th. My husband's truck is due on the 5th. Insurance is due on the 28th. However, we're actually a month ahead on some of these bills, okay? So if we were looking up here, right, if we knew water, sewer, trash was due on the 10th, we would want to make sure we paid for it out of the 4th. However, we already have the money for it in our necessities account. You may not be able to see that behind me. But we already have the money for water, sewer, trash. We already have the money for solar. So these are actually what we're going to pay for next month. So these can basically come out of any paycheck and would be fine. Now, the cell phone, that's due on the 17th. So I would look up here and say, okay, I could cover that out of the first paycheck or the second paycheck, depending on, you know, what I want to do. I have those options. Gas, again, we want to have the money as close to the beginning of the month as we can, just so we have the money in the bank and we can get gas freely without stressing if we have the money or not. Our insurance, that's due at the end of the month, so as long as, you know, that's due on the 26th or the 28th. So again, as long as I'm covering it out of one of these 3 paychecks, we're well in advance of when it needs to be due. So we're good with that. So the first thing we're going to do is come down to the first week here. So I have $461 out of this paycheck that I need to tell it where to go. First thing we're going to do are my daughter's commission jobs money. They can earn their age every week by doing age-appropriate chores around the house. So my oldest is 8 and my youngest is 5. Okay, so we can see that here, what they can earn. From there, then I'll do the rest of the month, okay? Like I mentioned, we want to have as much of the grocery money and as much of the gas money as we can ahead of time. So we have about 448. So we're going to divide, we'll just divide them in half between the first 2 paychecks. We have 168 and 168 for groceries. And then this is going to be 125. And this, I might actually end up changing this as well. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put the money for my husband's cell phone away right away. So we'll put $35 away for that. And if you can see here, like I said, we're doing 82%. So for the month, we had $2,973 to work with. I've already put, you know, the monthly amounts here. And so now, like I said, we're just going to go over and we're putting them in the weekly amount. So I actually have $120 left. So I might try to bump this up. Let's see what this would be if I just subtracted this out. So let's do $288.96 for groceries. And so if I have the $336 for the month, so for the second paycheck, we're actually going to need $47.04 to finish out our $336 for groceries, okay? So that's how we're going to do it. So out of that week, you can see now we have a 0, okay? Let's go ahead and go on to the next week. So again, we finished out groceries, so we're good with that. We're going to go ahead and put the solar and the water, sewer, trash money for next month. We're going to go ahead and put those aside in the second paycheck. We finished out our gas, and so we have $187.48 to go towards our insurance. And that's for 2 vehicles. We have a truck and a car. So as you see, that's not the full amount. So out of this next paycheck, we're going to have to finish out $48.18 out of that paycheck. So again, you can see now we have our amount. You can see here we have $432.73 left out of this column. So we're going to put that right towards the mortgage. The mortgage comes out on the 1st, so if you can see, we'll have the money by the 25th. So we'll have the money in the account, you know, well before, you know, plenty of time before it's due. So this paycheck, you can see here, we have $671.62. So we have $671.62, right? And we're a little bit short. Oh, you know what I did? Good thing I'm doing this. See here? Up here I have 71. I forgot to do the 82% for each week because I was like, how am I not having enough money to finish this out? So let's fix that real quick. So we have 82 we actually want across the board. So I fixed that first one. I can take this little square here. I can hold it down and bring it over that way. There we go. That should help out quite a bit. That was crazy. All right, so I apologize. We're going to go back. We're going to rework this for a minute. We're going to go back to this first one. So actually, I think we might be able to do the full grocery. Yeah, $336. We can do full groceries out of that first paycheck. So this is great because, like I said, I've been trying to purchase groceries like for the whole month, almost at the beginning of the month. So the rest, we're going to put the gas money. We're going to go ahead and we're going to increase this, and then that means we'll change this here. This is why it's good to plan ahead, because then you can see realistically what is everything looking like. So this will only be 84. And so that's actually going to change this one as well to this, so we can actually do the full 235.66 for there. All right, there we go, you guys. So I knew something wasn't right. See this last paycheck here? We're going to go ahead and put this, the 806, we're going to put all of that towards the mortgage. So out of this paycheck, we only need 334.74. Okay. And you can see this, I have like that $4 from this one. We're going to put that here. So we know we're going to do $750, $2, and we'll just put that out of this paycheck. The truck payment, that's where we're at. All right, so the truck payment, like I said, is due on the 5th of the next month. So we're plenty ahead of this. So we're going to do, we're going to do what's left in here, 131.26, and then the 238.57. So that should cover it. Yep, perfectly. Okay, there we go. So now our necessities, we've planned out for the month, but we've planned out for every paycheck as well. So now we can see ahead of time, where is the money going to come from? Where's the cash flow? So then we know, like I know, hey, I'm going to have the grocery money for the whole month right at the beginning of the month. So if I want to do one big grocery haul and only have to go to the store maybe 2 other times during the month to pick up like milk and fresh produce, then we're good. But we're going to have everything covered. So that's good. Now we're going to come down to our next category, which is extra debt payoff. So we're trying to pay off more of our debt. We're only going to be able to do 2% again because we don't have the overtime. Last month we did about 6%. Our goal is to be doing closer to maybe 8%. So again, it's going to fluctuate. If you have an irregular income like we do, it's going to fluctuate based on, you know, what you have. So I'm going to make sure I change that this is updated. So see here I had 6%. We're going to change that to the 2%, and we're going to drag this across. All right, so there we go. So we're going to go ahead and see our numbers are here. So I'm going to plug that in, $15.90. And this just gets put aside until the end of the month, and then I schedule an extra principal payment on the mortgage. Our goal, ideally, for the rest of 2019 is to do a minimum of $200 towards the mortgage, and then next year we want to do a minimum of $300. That's just for us to get our payoff projection. So if Ricky does end up working some overtime, the first place it's going to go to is the debt payoff, okay? Because all our bills are covered. We don't need to add any money to this if we don't want to. Personal care, household, we have money already in the sinking fund, so if we had to pull out of that savings account, we could. So we don't really need to add anything to there. We've done our 12% minimum to paying ourselves first, so we're good with that. That would increase automatically. But basically, you know, if we can get a little bit overtime to bump this up to 200, that would be ideal. So for now, 2% is what we're doing. So we'll be able to pay off an extra $72 so far. Now for fun, we normally do 10% for fun, but again, we're doing kind of a no spend month, and we're not planning on having overtime. So we're only doing 3% for fun, so $108 for fun. And again, I have to change this because this was normally 3%. So we're going to change this here, and then I'm going to take this over to there, okay? So as you can see, we're not going to do eating out. We're not going to do any events because of the no spend challenge. We do have $38.94 because that's what's left towards date night. Now, like I mentioned, it is mine and Ricky's anniversary, so we're going to get creative, and you know, we'll have our one little date night. We technically have 2 date nights a month now. We have the first Saturday of the month and the third Friday of the month. So this first Saturday most likely will just be no spending. We're going to have to get creative with what we're going to do. So we'll see. And then our YMCA and our Netflix, those are set things that, you know, that's what they are. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and put this $23.85 towards the date night. So $15.09 will come out of this next paycheck to finish that out. The Netflix is due, that comes out automatically on the 26th. So as long as we have it in the bank before the 25th paycheck, we're good. So we can pick to come out of any of them. We're going to go ahead and just put it out of the second one because we have enough money. That's $9.83. The YMCA comes out on the first of the month, so basically these last little bit will come out of there randomly, whatever is left in here. So this is going to be, we have 90 cents for this paycheck, 25.20, 33.74, and 17. All right, so you can see on the bottom now we have zeros because we've told every dollar where to go, and then we've done our percent-based budget. So like I said, we're doing 3% for fun, 2% for extra debt payoff, 82% is our necessities, including our taxes, 1% for giving, and 12% for our investing and our emergency fund. So that's what the month of October is looking like. Like I mentioned, we're going to do a no spend challenge. Join me on Wednesday while I explain that a little bit more. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.